Yeah. Can you tell us a story about, I guess, something that that didn't go so smoothly? Like, what's been probably the most stressful or disastrous thing that you've been part of?
Uh, disastrous.
Well, maybe not.
Um,
It doesn't have to be like an absolute, you know, uh,
yeah.
building falling down. So,
After issue.
yeah, yeah. So, what, um, what's your kind of, I guess, end goal? Do you have something in mind, I suppose, that you're wanting to work towards or aspiring towards?
Yeah, it's kind of a. I'm still going through that. I think I'm at this point. Do I like grow, or do I just stay the same size and kind of just really try and focus on the projects I want? Like, I've got a few friends who have bigger production companies, and I mean, a lot of the time I'm making just the same amount as them by the time they pay people and have to pay for rent and all that kind of stuff. I still work from a home office, so yeah, it's that thing. Do I grow and hire more people, or kind of just stay at the same? Like I'm pretty comfortable with my current income and stuff. I don't know if I do want to get bigger. I really do like the 5 minute kind of stories, and I think that really works at the moment. With people's attention spans and everything. If there was like
Mm.
a larger project, I'd be keen on that. But yeah, there is one at the moment which with a group here with about the childhood education and re-teaching kids and how to play outside and stuff. So that's something that I'm kind of just looking at the moment. Um, but yeah, so I also just bought 13 acres in Tasmania. So
Okay.
yeah, I really love Tassie. So that's going to be part of the plan as well. So I kind of yeah, need to try and position myself to have clients all over Australia. So when I go there, I'm not dependent on the Sunshine Coast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this seems like a little bit random, but I'm sure it's not. Like, what? What are you doing with the 13 acres?
Oh well, there's a house there, so yeah, I'm
Yeah.
gonna move there. So I've spent about 8 months driving around Tassie, and yeah, I loved it. So me and my
Yeah.
partner
Right.
bought some land there with a house on there,
Wow.
and you can still get enough land there that you don't have to be working your whole life to pay off the mortgage. Um,
Yeah.
and I love the community there, and so many organic food growers, and um, yeah, I really like. I don't know. It's kind of like New Zealand. My parents are from New Zealand. I'm not sure if
Yeah.
I resonate for that reason. I mean, I,
Yeah.
I do love the Sunshine Coast, but I don't even really go to the beach. I don't surf or anything. So
Yeah.
yeah, and I don't mind the cold, and yeah, and
Yeah.
it's so
Yeah.
beautiful, so beautiful. Like taking photos there is amazing. I spent a bit of time in Canada as well, and that was the similar. Like anywhere you take a camera in Canada is just beautiful. Um,
Mm.
yeah. So yeah, the goal is to kind of have an off grid home
Yeah.
and be growing food, and then having a communal workspace maybe in the town that near the land that we purchased, and kind of have a nice balance between analog living off the land and tech. You know, tech. I still love technology and everything. So
Yeah.
yeah, try and make something there. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah. I resonate with that. Even on my Twitter profile, I think it says something like part tech junkie, part hippie or something or other, because I find myself in that sort of space of like I've always been interested in technology. It's probably my dad was quite into it, so and he pioneered a lot of technology stuff into schools. He was a principal and got well established in that space in New South Wales, and what have you. But I also grew up in little teeny towns in New South Wales, and I
Mm.
went to high school at a place called Bellingham, which is down near Coffs
Oh, one of my
Harbour.
friends just moved there.
Yeah, yeah, it's a
Yeah,
great place. I mean,
yeah,
Belgium. I mean, you would slide straight in there because it's
yeah. I've been told.
yeah, yeah, it's one of the destinations where all the hippies went to in the '60s. So they kind of went to someplace near Taree. I never remember. Sorry, guys who are even from there, anyone from there who might watch this later. And then there's the Bellinger Valley, which is all
Yeah.
surrounded by. It's basically just one big valley made up of smaller, like little tributary type valleys that have, lots of communes and things
Mhm.
like that. And then there was the Byron Bay area. But I used to always, we used to always kind of like uh, turn our nose up a little bit at Byron because it had become a bit kind of commercialized. I used to call it the yuppie alternate experience. But
Yeah.
yeah, so I think
Yeah,
some of that
I
rubbed
lived
off
there
on
as
me.
well in Byron, and yeah, it's funny how spaces get like that. It gets cool, and then
Mm,
it gets expensive, and then it gets and people move out. Yeah, I did
yeah.
like it there. I lived in Bimby for like 6 months.
Okay.
It was cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I feel like this has a good time to ask this question. So how long have you had your dreadlocks?
Oh, I've got no dreadlocks.
Oh, I thought you had
No,
dreadlocks.
no dreads. Just long hair.
Just just long hair. Huh.
Yeah.
I could have sworn in some of the photos I saw dreads, or maybe you just let it get you leave it go for a while.
Yeah, once it kind of goes together, but it's not dreaded or anything like that. I kind of, if I don't brush it for a month, it kind of, I get maybe gets stuck in there, but it's not dreaded or anything. I thought about it, but then I had friends, lots of friends with dreadies, and it does seem like a bit of work, and they always
Mm.
smell.
Yeah. Well, that's it. Yeah, I had dreads back in the day, so I'm always interested
Yeah,
when people have dreads and how long they've had them, and yeah,
yeah,
because I had like curly hair. Well, I had like just kind of pretty straight hair growing out. And then when I turned 16, just out of nowhere, my hair went curly. It was a real weird surprise for everybody. And I was like, okay, this is different. And I was sort of into surfing. I thought it was a good idea to have long hair. In hindsight, it was probably a terrible idea. I don't think it was helping me at all with the lady. But then when I went down to Sydney, I was 20 or so. I had wanted to get dreads earlier, but my old man, we only had two like really major altercations in my life. And one was when I said I wanted to get an eyebrow ring, and he just really was not happy about that. He said he'd rip it out of my head and all this sort of stuff. And then the other one was if I said I wanted to get dreadlocks, and he said, "No, I'll just shave your head." And I was like, "Okay, well." So, but then when I left, I got the eyebrow ring. I got
yeah.
the
Got
did the
it all.
dreadlocks, and I liked them for a while, but yeah, like I went down that path of like putting the wax in, trying to kind of form
Mm,
them, but and not washing them. So yeah, like I could just, I guess, surfing, working really hard in hospitality, and going out clubbing a lot. It's probably a pretty feral combination, really. Like just
yeah,
yeah,
bad mix. Yeah, all those
yeah,
smells. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
My
But
friend
it was
just cut his dreadlocks actually, and he had them right down to his butt, and then he
oh,
cut them, and I was like, oh god, I don't recognize him. He's got really short
did
hair
he
now.
go all the way short?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I mean, I've got long hair, but I have thought about cutting it. Those things that become part of your identity. Kind of like, oh, I'll
Yeah.
just get rid of it. Nice little change.
Yeah. Well, what I can say is when I got the dreads shaved off, it was and this chick was massaging my head with shampoo. It was just
Good,
it was a
good
pretty
feeling.
spectacular experience.
Yeah,
It's like it
yeah,
was feeling so good.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I was digging it for a while. So,
yeah.
tell me, what about movies and like I guess longer form documentary type sort of content? Is that something that you've had experience with or interested in doing?
Yeah. Um, so I've had experience. So I went to film school, so I've worked on a few bigger sets, and then I was a part of a documentary last year that got filmed in Asia, and I was the main editor on that as well. And that was an hour and a half documentary, and so that's the longest one I've been involved with. Um, but at this moment, yeah, I've got no desire to make that longer form stuff. Maybe if I had the right team, I don't know. I think sets can be quite stressful, and I don't know. I guess if you have the right team, it'd be quite fun. But a couple of sets I was on, I was like, oh, this no one looks like they're having fun here. But yeah, I haven't got too too much desire in doing that. I've done a few short films, and that was kind of nice, um, like narrative stuff, and
Yeah.
yeah, I wouldn't mind doing a few narrative things, but I'm still kind of learning. I kind of still figuring out directing. Really, directing is quite a tricky thing for my brain. Like
Mm.
I'm not always, I kind of not always plan it certain things out. I guess that's why I've gone more towards documentary filmmaking. I like observing and kind of getting people comfortable and talking with them, more
Mm.
so than really, structuring a narrative. But it's something I'd like to learn more about. Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, because that's what I was initially drawn to. I guess the documentary style or sort of small. I think I may have even spoke to you about it at one stage at one of those Sunny Coast Screen Collective events. But the idea of doing like biopics, just little things where someone wants to have a feature like on a founder of a company or something, where you actually go and and there's a
Mm.
local dude here who it's on the cards. You might have seen some of his work. He creates this surfboard art, or he does photography in the surf predominantly, and then he laminates it onto surfboards. Like he does do big
Cool.
framed pictures as well, but
Yeah.
predominantly he puts them on surfboards and sells them at the markets. And um, yeah, pretty chilled out sort of dude. And he was down here at Moffs, where I live, and he was talking about maybe doing something where he'd have someone kind of follow him around as he kind of goes and scouts out locations and does his stuff in the water and whatever. I
Mm.
thought that'd be a lot of fun. That and like also I suppose what you're talking about, where you get a chance to meet the people and spend time with them and sort of build a bit of a relationship, and so then they're hopefully more comfortable to open up
Yeah.
and talk about things.
Yeah. That's the key. Like, I don't know. There's only yeah. You can get enough skill with the camera, but if you don't have the relationship, you don't really have a nice conversation. And I mean, you have to know it. You're not going to tell a stranger all this stuff about you. So that's the
Yeah.
key thing. And like having a fixer, someone on the ground who's kind of that connecting person, that's always a really nice addition to like a production. Having
Mm.
someone who's that connecting element.
Yeah, talk to me more about that. I'm not so familiar with the concept of a fixer. So what would they do?
Someone's just like, it's kind of like a producer, but they're local. So if you're going to travel somewhere, they're kind of your producer who knows locations, people, and they're doing work, all the groundwork before you get there, so that you're not just there and meeting everyone fresh. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind of just the term I heard like a year ago or something. I was like, oh, that's a good little name for it, fixer.
Yeah, well, you just got to pick up all these things as you sort of go along, don't you?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Pick
Acronyms.
it up or make it up.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Can you tell us a story about, I guess, this, something that didn't go so smoothly? Like, what's been probably the most stressful or disastrous thing that you've been part of?
Uh, Disastrous.
Well, maybe
Um,
not. It doesn't have to be like an absolute,
yeah.
building falling down. So maybe
Oh,
it's a
yeah. Oh,
problem that you
yeah.
had to
So
solve.
when
So
we were
you
on a,
troubleshoot.
we went on a in PNG. We went, we went on a boat. I don't know what the name of them are, but they're really long, just one hull boat. They're a lot of fishermen, but they're also transport boats. And we went on one to go to an island. So it was about 2 hours on this little boat. So we flew into Port Moresby, and then another small plane to Kokopo, and then a boat to this little island to film some people there, because it was about the gallop, which is a nut, and it was on this island. So we're going there to talk to people about it. And we had two boats, one for all the gear and then one for all the people. And we had a big bag with like flares and life jackets and all this kind of sat navs and all this stuff. And that bag was on the bag with all the luggage, so that wasn't with us. And the waves was horrible. The boat broke down and had to sit in the water for like 20 minutes while another boat came and got us. I mean, switch boats. And it was 20. Oh yeah, it was about 2 hours, and it was just like the worst ride. And there was a few kids with us, and it was, yeah, the waves were really bad, and I remember the driver was like, I was like, I wonder how good he is at driving this thing, and yeah, you kind of have to follow the waves, and if you don't get it right, it does kind of kick out. He nearly fell off, the driver, because he was the only one
Oh,
standing
yes.
up, and nearly fell off on this wave, and yeah, so just like that, yeah, like PNG is very, it's beautiful with a camera, but then it can just be chaos. It's color and chaos, places like that. So there's
Yeah,
days
yeah.
that are really calm and beautiful on like an island, but then you've got to trade that in for 2 hours of just like, oh my god, what do I do if something goes wrong here?
Are we actually gonna stay alive?
Yeah,
Yeah,
no
yeah.
control, like, control. What do? You kind of just hope that you can stay afloat if something goes wrong.